Alright, so this will be a feedback slash critique for Cap. I don't think I've given you one before. If I have, I don't remember. This is TK Shazam on the Discords. I'm just a nerd who likes Tekken and talking about it. I am by no means a professional player, yada yada yada. I just like playing a lot of Tekken, watching a lot of Tekken. It's neat. It's a fun game. Okay. I don't know. I think it seems like you had a bit of a crash out when you sent these messages. So I will do what I can to address them and try to give some pointers, right? Can't do throws because he break. I think you're okay. So I'm gonna preface this by saying I think you are gassing up this random Fujin's defense a little too much, right? You are just not fully recognizing the opportunities you have to attack. And I'll try and point some out and try and experiment a little bit more, right? Because right now I'm just seeing a lot of nothing and then random bursts of offense, which is the usual like Paul flow chart offense of let me do forward forward 2-2 or some shit, right? And that's not going to work out. That's not a good long term strategy. If you want to start getting into the higher ranks, you need to start creating some structure to your offense and start using more of Paul's better moves, right? I don't think this guy has as good of a defense as you are gassing him up, right? But let's try and break it down and see see what's up. I mean, this guy's got 5 wins. Maybe he's on an alt or something. But I think no, his prowess isn't that much higher than yours. I think he's just on a win streak because nobody labs the bear matchup. Even me, even if I have the replays to do so. All right. Okay. Okay, so right here, like this dancing around in the neutral, right? This I don't understand, right? So right here, maybe you're like looking away. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so you get the knockdown, but then you immediately back off, right? Now maybe this is after a series of matches with the guy where you just don't feel like you know you can do anything, right? But the thing here, okay, so you go for this knockdown. Right here, he just gets up. He doesn't do the bear get up where he can because when they're in that knockdown position, they can do a special bear get up and swipe at you, and that can be kind of annoying to deal with. If they do that, do forward four, it'll hit them out of it, or just do like back four or whatever. He just gets up, stands up, right? There, you should have continued your offense and done a throw or a low, right? If you're really worried, just do forward 1+2 as a mid, because he's just getting up. He's not immediately pressing. He's not immediately doing the special bear get up. He's not immediately tossing something out, right? He also just backs up, right? So you have that is an opportunity to attack. If the opponent is getting up and they're just stand blocking or backdashing, you can chase them down. You have the lows to do that. I can understand some of the lows here seem very awkward to use, and they are, right? They are. But QCF3 and Deep Dive 4 will reach the bears, right? They will connect. So you just need to use them more. It can be annoying that back 4 doesn't reach, that demo man doesn't reach, that sidestep 3 can be kind of awkward, right? But you still have options there, right? And if you're worried about the lows not connecting, because of the bear's taller body, right, the head hurt box is actually very easy to land a lot of highs, right? So up forward 2, QCB4 will connect a lot more easily on these characters. Yes, they will start ducking, but that's fine because your mids will still connect, right? So right here, you should consider using a low or throw, or if you're not certain, right, just QCB4, up forward 2, whatever, right? Bear side steps are kind of whack. It's nothing crazy. You run in with wall running too, and I don't really understand why. Right? Again, I know you might have had some matches leading up to this, but again, what reason have you given him to duck? Right? Do you feel like he's not really flash ducking? He's not really doing anything that we're run up uh, wall running 2 is going to go anywhere. You're just putting yourself at -9 in front of a bear, which is not the worst place to be. They're not exactly the scariest standing offense character, but it's not ideal, right? They do have some annoying mix-ups, and they can be kind of annoying at right in that close range, right? Especially when you have to deal with like their G clef. You don't want to deal with that. Try to avoid putting yourself in this range very often against the bears, all right? You just don't want to be there. Right here, that is a power crush move that gets them into hunting bear stance. You need to practice punishing this. It can be kind of deceptive. He has 2 moves that can go into hunting bear stance. He has a double claw swipe and he has an armored single claw swipe. The armored single claw swipe, you must always use down 1+2. You have to punish this. There's no sugarcoating that. You need to be punishing this move, right? If you don't, you're letting the bear get away for free. Don't use back 1-2 because sometimes they can cancel it and then the back one will whiff. Just use your mid long range knockdown shoulder punish. Right? This is how you avoid that situation. You would not be in this mix up at all if right here you immediately did down 1+2. But because you tried to back up, he still has very long range lows from that position and you didn't recognize the punish opportunity when you had it. You avoided the low there with the tech roll, which is good, but then you mashed out the power crush, and I'm not sure why, right? He's behind you. He's clearly like standing still, and you mashed out a power crush. This one I can understand, like you're kind of in a scramble panic situation, but you have to go. Okay, let me quickly recognize that my opponent is back turn and do like standing 3, right? Something like that. Just going, oh, let me get up into a power crush against a character with a lot of scary lows is not the move. It's just not the play, right? Here, this is a tough situation. It's just kind of like you have to be very aware of the character's options. You have to be aware that right here, this one's a bit of a knowledge check. He's using the jumping low on you as a reaction test. That can be kind of tough. But right here, once he's in hunting bear stance, right, you have to be aware of the throw from it, which can happen. I don't know if the butt slam or the butt blast from here is guaranteed. Try to use replay takeover and see if you could have tech rolled out of that, right? But it was just kind of, you were in an unfortunate situation. You had to guess. You guessed wrong. It is what it is, right? On to the next round. Right here, you had a bit of a whiff punish opportunity. Granted, it was very fast, but, you know, experiment with it. Try to develop that reaction of, my opponent is pressing a button. It is not touching me. I'm not blocking it. I'm not getting hit. It whiffed. I should try and whiff punish this, right? You can either try to use like a whiff punish like down 1+2, or you can use that opportunity during the whiff recovery to go for like a low run up throw, whatever else you think, right? But just standing there and kind of letting them press buttons like that is not going to be the play. We already talked about the low usage. Just don't use back 4. It is what it is. That's just the matchup. Right. He's just dancing back and forth when right here, right, like, okay. He's just dancing back and forth right here. You can be using QCB4 because, again, he's not really ducking that often. You can do deep dive 4, and if you're worried about, oh, he'll block the low, well, I mean, blocking the low is fine. It's only -12. But you can do your mid options from deep dive. You can cancel into wall standing 1-2. You can do a lot to kind of spice up your offense here, which is the main point. I'm not sure what that big jab was about. Right there, the headbutt is kind of... That's just, he's not plus, but he's safe, so it's whatever. That's understandable. Maybe experiment with the throws. You'd have to check replay takeover, see how minus he is after that interaction. And if he's minus enough, you frame trap with a throw. Understand that if an opponent... Okay, so work with me here, right? You just blocked a move from the opponent. They are technically safe. You cannot punish them because they're -7, right? Okay, So hypothetically, I don't know how minus this move is. Don't go into the frame data and look at it and it's like -2 or something. And then suddenly be like, what? Shazam told me it's -7. I don't know what the headbutt is. I'm trying to use this as an example. The headbutt, if the opponent is in minus frames, even if they're safe, that means you are plus, right? An opponent's -7 is your +7, right? Even if it's -2, their -2 is your +2. You are +2. You have the advantage. So frame trap them. Use a throw. Use a low. QCF3 can be kind of iffy. I know I understand it's kind of slow, right? But give it a shot. Experiment. See what you can get away with, right? Obviously, I'm not going to recommend Demo Man in the bear matchup, but that's a whole different story. But don't just let the opponent press something and then let them press another thing just like that, right? Try to frame trap them. Use replay takeover. See if you could counter hit them with a jab or a throw, right? Maybe the block stem from it's kind of weird and it's possible, but you need practice doing it. Unless the opponent is strictly plus, or you know it's like some weird setup, like how Paul can do QCF1 and on block, if you jab into it, down forward 2 will avoid everything. Will avoid every single jab for whatever reason, right? That's a clear setup. Obviously, don't mash into that, right? But if it's not a setup move, it's just a move that is kind of annoying to block, yeah, but it leaves them in minus frames. Try to take your turn. Use the frame advantage to your advantage, right? Down forward 1. Don't just like let it stop here, right? You do the down forward 1. He immediately ducks, and that was really good reaction on the bear. I don't think he knew you were going to do down forward 1-1. I think he was expecting down forward 1 sway 4. That's the usual Paul flow chart. And the immediate launch was a muscle memory. But this is why we don't just do down forward 1 right away. If you're scared of using the basic layer 1 flow chart, which is understandable, just do down forward 1 and then hold back and let the sway rock. Let it rock a little bit. Just hold back. See what the opponent likes to do. If they start lashing out immediately, what do they lash out with? What do they punish, or what do they try to mash with? Figure it out from there, and then, okay, they mash jabs. So next down forward 1, I think I can go for down forward 1, sway 3. That'll counter hit the jabs, right? Or down forward 1, hold back, let the sway rock a little bit, and do a delayed sway 1+2. That way, if they start doing jabs, you'll go under, you'll whiff punish them with sway 1+2. It's a very powerful strategy because, again, it's a layer 2 strategy. Layer 1, down forward 1, sway 4. It trades pretty well with everything, beats everything except like jabs or ducking, right? And then you go, okay, so they started ducking, so my layer 1 needs to change it up. I need to go to layer 2, which is a mid from sway, right? And if it's too very fast, maybe a little bit of a delay with sway and then going into sway 1+2, right? Stuff to think about. Okay, right here again. So you land the get up kick. You land the get up kick and then you backdash. Why? Get up kicks are plus. You have the advantage. Get up 3 is like at least like +4, +5, +6, something. It is plus. You have the advantage. Do a mix up, right? If you're worried about being in crouch, which is understandable, like you can't from this position, you can't do like anything too scary. I don't think you can immediately demo man right away, but you can throw them. You can do up forward 1+2. You can do back 1+4. Right, that will frame trap them very easily. You say like he can't do throws because he breaks all of them. The issue, it doesn't matter if the opponent breaks the throw. You need to make sure it stays in their mental rotation, their mental stack. Okay. If you stop using throws and the opponent goes, okay, cool, he stopped using throws, I don't have to think about them anymore. That gives them more mental ability, mental energy to look at your other aspects of your gameplay and be ready for those, right? Trust me, this guy is not as good at throw breaking as you think he is. You just need to mix up your timing and mix up your throw breaks, right? If you're always doing like forward 1+2 or any of your 1+2 throws, of course he's going to break them. He doesn't need to do anything. He can just predict. You'll go for the predictable throw. But if you mix up your timings, if you use it here, because we've seen that he's passive on his defense. He holds back. He lets you rock a little bit. He doesn't challenge your plus frames too often. And if you throw him in that situation, even if he breaks it, he'll have to think about that. He'll have to go, crap, next time he hits me with like a get up kick, I might have to duck to avoid the throw or do movement. And that will change up the mind game so you can use other options. You can introduce other options here. Just going, okay, cool, I landed some plus frames and then letting go of them, I don't think is the play, right? Again, sidestep 3, don't use it. QCF3, deep dive 4. If you're not using those, run up and throw. If you're not using that, QCD4. Other options. You gotta accept that this is a matchup where certain lows, unless you're really, really, really sure that they're gonna connect, just they're not part of the equation here. It sucks. It's annoying. It is what it is. I don't understand what that random running shredder kick was, but if you're gonna do the running shredder kick, don't just stop at the first one. Just do the mix up. Fuck it, right? If you just stop at the first one, you're launch punishable. I'm not gonna harp on this too much. Maybe it was a misinput. Obviously, nerves and frustration come into play here, right? But just let it rip. Just let it rip. Don't just do the full thing. Fuck it. See, okay, I like this. I like this. Again, you're kind of backing off when you don't need to be, right? Continue the offense. Do Hammer of the Gods. Forward 1+2. Their big ass head that reaches to the sky will usually connect with it. It's pretty good. This is more of a knowledge check. That 1-2 into the low kick. Just low parry it. Just gotta be a little bit careful. I don't know if you can low... Oh, nice. That whiff. That's so funny. This is what we're talking about. Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. But the 1-2 low kick, there a lot of online bears, especially at these early ranks, will love it. Just low parry it. Just don't waste your time. Right? Okay. Don't finish this string. Don't finish it. The bear is not, again, the bear is not a defense god. He's just played enough like basic Paul that he knows basic Paul flowcharts, right? You need to take it to the next level. Your offense, he's seen it before. There are a million Pauls online, right? I'm one of them. And they will all have very similar flowcharts, right? Oh, I'm going to do QCB 3-2-1, right? And you'll see them gamble it, right? You'll see players immediately duck after they block that second mid punch, right? If you're not sure what they like to do, just stop at the mid punch. Just stop, right? Yes, it is -10, so it is punishable, right? But people are not going to be punishing it on reaction. They're going to be immediately ducking, thinking you're going to finish the string because they're expecting the high and they really want that launch. So then you just stop at the mid, they duck, thinking you're going to do the high. By the time they realize, wait, he's not doing the high, I need to punish, you've already recovered, right? Don't just finish the full string. Experiment with the mind game a little bit. You can stop at the 2. You can stop at the mid punch. It'll be okay, right? It's not a Mishima. They don't have flash punch. Bears don't have flash punch. They have an okay 10 frame punish. It's nothing crazy, right? It's not like who else has a crazy 10 frame punish in this game? Azucena. Azucena has a very strong 10 frame punish. You're not fighting Azucena. You can be at -10 because you need to first confirm, okay, I stopped at the mid punch. Does he immediately duck? Or does he stand block? If he stand blocks, maybe I can let the high rip a little bit. If he immediately ducks, time to go mid, right? Don't overcommit, right? Every Paul has done that QCB 3-2-1 string to everybody. A lot of players online, doesn't even have to be this bear, will be familiar with it. I will fight Kishins, right? That I've never met before in my life. I'll do the mid punch, the deep dive 2, or just QCB 3-2. I'll stop at the mid, and they're immediately ducking because they've played against Paul enough to recognize, like, Paul's love that string. I can't punish it, so I'm just going to duck and launch it. And then you have to go to the next layer of, I'm going to stop at the mid, see what you're doing, don't overextend, right? If you have a read that you know they like to duck, do the mid, just let it rip, whatever. But don't Just again, the way your offense is structured, it's like a lot of online pauls. They like to finish these risky strings, and the opponent is ready for them, and that's what happened here. You get launched. He messes up his heat burst. He spends his heat. Doesn't do the easy mode electric for whatever reason. I think you like very much. Nice Death Fist. I don't know what you caught off, but okay. That's unfortunate. You had the read. It is what it is. I think this was your round. You can't let that get to you. Input errors happen. I can't tell you how many times I have done combo ender, heat burst, death fist, heat dash cancel, and then I end with like forward 2, right? It happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to everybody. Shit happens. The sooner you understand that, you know what, fuck it, we ball up top, right? Fuck it. We did the heat dash, I messed it up, I'll just move on to the next thing and move the fuck on, right? That happened. It happens to everybody. The key distinction between the good players, the solid players where you're at, and then the great players is that they don't let it phase them, right? It's just something that'll come with practice and experience. You can't let it get to you. You're tilting, and you're gonna start falling apart. It is what it is. You lost this round. You just move on, right? I don't have inputs on. What did he hit you out of? He only had 2 seconds left. Oh, did you try to do another Death Fist? It looked like you were crouching again. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. It happens. You move on. Right. Okay, I like the down forward too, but again, you're too passive here, right? You tried to do the 1-2 into a throw, which I respect. I think that's good, right? He broke it, but I think that's mainly because you went for the usual, like, 1+2 break. I think he's just guessing. I don't think he's really that good at throw breaks. Again, you're just doing basic online offense, right? 3-2, everybody's seen it. You're at the ranks. Look, I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm not. I genuinely am not. I think you have made a lot of progress in this game. You're already at a pretty above average rank, right? But now you're at the doorstep. You're at the doorstep of the big leagues. 3-2 is not going to cut it anymore. 3-2 is too risky. Do not finish that string. I'm not going to harp on this too much because, again, I'm not sure if it was an input error. But the players you are fighting against will duck and launch it. We tell this to everybody in the Paul Discord. Don't use 3-2 as a cornerstone of your offense. Use it as a whiff punish. Use it as your back turn punish because it's godlike. Do all that. Don't use it in neutral. You will die. You will straight up die. Okay. Yeah, just don't use it. Just don't use it in neutral. Use standing 3. That can be okay. Don't finish 3-2. You're gonna die. This bear doesn't even know how to do the butt blast, like, guaranteed. Anyway, that's good. Different story. Nice. I think that's the first QCB4 I've seen in the entire game. Look, it already connected. Again, see, he doesn't even know the punish. He's just throwing out a launcher because he's, alright, I blocked something, just throw out my launcher, right? That's also punishable. Use replay takeover when you block the big upper claw, the while standing 2 or while standing 1, whatever from the Bears. Pretty sure that's punishable. Use the replay takeover to confirm, okay? I like that look, you used QCB4 twice in a row. This dude did not duck. He wasn't ready. He was not ready at all. You can do more with QCB4. Use it more to control a lot more space. Don't use it when he starts doing his hell sweep. Why did that high crush? I thought his hell sweep wasn't that good. Maybe it's like in the later rounds. Like, again, the wall standing 3. He doesn't even finish the combo. Oh, he just wants to mess with you. That's unfortunate. I mean, whatever. The guy's just playing with his food. But okay. Let's do this. Neutral, punishment / matchup knowledge, combo / OK, personal opinion stuff. Neutral. You're too passive and neutral. You're not recognizing when you have the offensive opportunities of going for a low, going for a throw. and it's costing, excuse me, it's costing you, right? You're just not really recognizing, oh, I can be doing more. Try and experiment a little bit more. Don't just backdash like this. Don't just backdash and let him run away, right? If he's backdashing himself, you can chase down with a low, right? If he starts ducking, then you have plenty of mids from your approach options of deep dive and QCF that you can use, right? You have plenty of options. Wall standing 1-2, also really good to really mess with the opponent's mental stack when you go for deep dive options. Very powerful stuff. I think you want to experiment more with your offense. You're just using a lot of the strings. You're not using those single hit powerful moves and building a game plan from there, right? Let's do. I don't want to. I've already talked enough about neutral. The stuff I've mentioned. Punishment slash matchup knowledge. You're missing out on some key punishment opportunities, and it's letting the bear get away with a lot of stuff. You're playing Paul. You're higher up in the ranks now. You are approaching. You're gonna start needing to learn punishment. You need to understand that Paul's offensive opportunities are tied to his defense, right? To your defense as a player. It's an interesting discussion. You know, a lot of people will argue that, well, you need a lot of defensive knowledge as Paul. Why even bother? I know I've made that argument a bunch because I kind of buy into it. But I genuinely think that as you build up your defensive knowledge of Tekken, you learn your punishment. Paul rewards that, right? For minus 12, some people, most people, are just getting some frame advantage, barely a knockdown, maybe some like nice chunky damage. Paul gets a long range knockdown punish, like decent damage, right? It's pretty good. And that's your reward. You learn the punishment, you realize, wait, all these players are just doing punishable shit, and you go, cool, I can use that to my advantage. I mean, to put it as one way, as a friend put it, my friend who picked up, he plays Claudio. He picked up Paul he has got like a little pocket Paul. He's always like trying him out. He told me one day, he's like, now I know why every Paul player he fights has fucking cracked out punishment. There's nothing else with this character. He just doesn't have offense in the structure that Tekken 8 seems to want it, right? That's just how it be, right? But as you learn punishment, trust me, against these Fujins, against anybody at below, like, honestly, even some Tekken Emperors, God, some of the Tekken Emperors I fight, anybody below like God ranks, right? You go, oh, they're just doing a bunch of punishable shit. Use replay takeover, figure out where your punishment opportunities are. Trust me, you'll see a lot of free damage on the table. Combo slash Oki, your combos were fine. I didn't really get to see that many opportunities for it. Oki we talked about, right? If you get a knockdown like this, be a little bit greedy. Run up, do a low, do a throw. Don't just run up and backdash. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe he was mashing earlier and you weren't certain, but you know this is fine. This is again. Be a little bit more greedy because that's when you're going to learn what you can get away with. And once you understand what you can get away with, you'll just go, okay, this is what's working when I go for Oki. This is what's not. So just don't do what's not working and use what's working, right? Personal opinion stuff. More lows, Deep Dive 4, QCF 3. They are your saving grace in this bear matchup. Until you get more comfortable with the bear matchup and understand where you can place back 4, sidestep 3, and Demo Man, just use those other lows, right? Use more throws. Really test your opponent's knowledge, right? Constantly switch up your breaks. Constantly change up the timing that you're going for your throws and which ones you're going for. I love using back 1+4 if my back is to the wall. If my back is to the wall and I block something from my opponent, I'm throwing them, right? I'm throwing them. And then later on in the rounds, when they realize like, oh, this guy likes to use a lot of the one break, I'll if I do something, I'm just gonna break one, right? And then I go cool, and then I'll just use a different throw, right? I'll use 2+4 back. I'll use up forward 1+2, right? It doesn't matter to me. Experiment more with his throws. I don't really think his throw breaking was that good. I think he just had a really good read on your timing, right? And again, like look, like you say here, can't do any of my good highs because he ducks them all frame perfect. I watched you rip like 3 QCB4s, bro. Where are we at? One. You whiffed one. He didn't duck. You did another one. He didn't duck. Right? You did down forward 1-1. He didn't immediately duck it. So that tells me in the earlier round when he just ducked it immediately, that was just he got lucky on a read. He thought you were gonna do down forward 1 sway 4, right? He had a high gap there, didn't immediately duck it. He's not a god in this Paul matchup. He just knows some of the stuff, right? Runs in, does a low, expects you to mash, does the hell sweep. That's fine. But you have the opportunity to do your good highs. You just weren't familiar with them. You weren't recognizing them, right? And then when he was ready to duck them, you weren't ready to mix up with your mids. That is my opinion, right? Don't lose hope, right? Don't feel defeated. Change up your timings, being like, okay, he's ducking him at this time. Let me recreate the same positioning, the same timing, and just do a mid, right? Do a safe mid. You just cycle through your options. If your highs aren't working out, use mids that pair well with them. The key word, pair well, right? Or key phrase. You want to look for moves that have synergy together. What moves have synergy? QCB4 is a homing plus unblock high counter hit launcher. That move is great. The only real out that the opponent has is that they're so far away that it doesn't reach them, at which point you just don't do the move, don't whiff it, right? Don't use it when they're at super far distances, right? You can use the move here, right? You got blocked, and the bears have a big ass head. But if you're like, let's see, like run up, like right here, right? If this is the distance between you and the opponent, obviously don't use QCB4, right? But once you do start using it, right? What do they have? They start ducking, right? So in that situation, it's just a matter of use your mids, use QCB2, use QCB1, stuff like that. Experiment and diversify your options. You can use forward 1+2, but the reason it won't be as good as QCB1 or 2 when you combine it with QCB4 is because you're not having that little backsway animation. A lot of times, let's be real here, QCB4 is unreactable. That shit is like 18 frames with the perfect input, and realistically, it's like 19 to 20 maybe. Maybe it's slightly slower, right? But even at that range, like nobody's reacting perfectly to QCB4. They are reacting to your backsway, going, this dude likes to use QCB4 a lot, I'm just going to duck, right? So you want to use the other QCB mids because that same animation will play out. They'll see Paul do a little bit of a duck and then go, okay, I'm going to duck. I'm going to duck the high coming out, and then you do the mid. Simple. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. I yapped a lot. That's what I had to say. I don't really have much else to say, right? Literally everything I did against the guy was in the wrong move. How do I break how do you break defense like that? Is you have to change up your timings. You have to understand, like, okay, they're not working out. Let me try and change up my timings, right? I talked about when you should go for the throw. Right here, like here, you should have gone for a throw or down forward 1 into a sway mix up. Right here, you should have gone for a low, right? Don't just backdash. It's all about just experimenting with your timing, recognizing, okay, the opponent's not mashing, which means I can get a button off, right? If they're mashing, you got to go for a whiff punish. But if they're not pressing anything, they're just very passive, you can run up and mess with them a little bit more, right? There is a non-0% chance that you're fighting some god rank player on an alt account who's smurfing. That's very frustrating. I get that. I don't think this is one of those cases, but who knows, right? For right now, if you ever fight another player of this same strategy, the same style, it doesn't have to be Sketch Corels or whoever this is, right? But if you ever fight another player like this, you have to go, oh, I have to change up my timings, experiment a little bit more. Your offense is too rigid, too structured. You're still using a lot of risky stuff you don't need to be using, and it's getting you killed. All right, man. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. We're all in the Discord. Have a good one.